Welcome back to my channel Coins Dealer. Did you know that a regular nickel from 1980, the kind you might pass by without a second glance, could be worth thousands, or even up to $1 million? Yes, you heard that right. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most overlooked yet potentially valuable coins in American history, the 1980 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark. And trust me, after this video, you'll never look at your change the same way again. Stick around, because we're revealing what to look for, how to spot a fortune in your pocket, and the shocking real market values of these nickels today. Let's get started. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American coinage since 1938. It features Thomas Jefferson on the front and his iconic home, Monticello, on the back. In 1980, something changed. For the first time ever, the Philadelphia Mint began using a mint mark, the letter P, on nickels. That means if you have a 1980 Jefferson nickel with a P on it, you've got a piece of minting history. But not all 1980 P nickels are created equal. Some of them are worth only 5 cents, while others can fetch thousands, and a few incredibly rare examples have crossed into million-dollar territory. Let's talk about why most 1980 P Jefferson nickels were struck in the hundreds of millions. So what makes a handful of them so valuable? It all comes down to condition, errors, and striking anomalies. Let's break it down. First, there are the full steps varieties. This refers to the stairs on Monticello on the reverse side of the coin. If you can clearly see 5 or 6 full steps without any breaks, that coin is considered a full steps nickel, and collectors go wild for them. Then come the minting errors. These can include double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and broad strikes. Some of the most valuable 1980 P nickels ever sold had dramatic double die features, where parts of the design are visibly doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process. That kind of error turns an ordinary nickel into a treasure. Let's talk money. A standard 1980 P Jefferson nickel in circulated condition is worth 5 cents. Even in mint state, it might only fetch $1 or $2. But if your coin is in near perfect condition, we're talking mint state 67 or higher, and it has full steps, the price jumps dramatically. 1 high-grade full steps example sold at auction for over $5,000. And that's just the beginning. Rare era nickels from 1980 with the P mint mark have been valued anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 depending on the severity and uniqueness of the mistake. Now here's where it gets mind-blowing. There have been private collectors and coin funds willing to offer 6-figure and even 7-figure prices for ultra-rare, museum-worthy specimens, especially coins that are one-of-a-kind errors with immaculate preservation. That's right. If you have a flawless 1980 P nickel with an extreme mint error and full steps designation, you could be holding $1 million coin. So what should you do? First, check your loose change, coin jars, and old collections. Flip the coin over and look for the P mark to the right of Monticello. Then, inspect the steps. Are they full and clear, with no nicks or breaks? Use a magnifying glass or coin loop to look closely. Now check for any oddities. Does anything look off? Is the design doubled? Is the coin struck off-center? Is the edge incomplete or misshapen? If you spot something unique, do not clean the coin. Instead, have it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Certification is key to realizing the full market value of your coin. The 1980 P Jefferson nickel may look common, but it holds secrets that could make you rich, whether it's a stunning full steps example or an ultra-rare mint error. These coins have caught the attention of collectors and investors worldwide. Some are even willing to pay $1 million for that one perfect piece. So before you spend your spare change, take a closer look. That old nickel might just be the most valuable thing in your pocket. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins that could be hiding in plain sight, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you never miss a hidden treasure again. We are talking about a coin you might already have, and it could be worth an incredible amount of money. I am talking about the 1981 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark. Yes, That ordinary-looking 5-cent coin could be worth thousands, or even up to $1 million if you are lucky enough to have the right one. So grab your coin collection, or even that old jar of change on your shelf, and let's dig into the shocking details about the 1981 P. Monticello Jefferson nickel, and why collectors and investors are going crazy for this tiny piece of metal. Let's start with the basics. The Jefferson nickel was first minted in 1938, and has remained in circulation ever since. The 1981 P nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Now most of these coins are pretty common, and you can find them in your pocket change or in rolls from the bank. Over 500 million of them were made in that year alone. So what makes one of them worth more than a car or even a house? It comes down to rarity, condition, and most importantly, errors. That's right. Coin collectors are constantly searching for nickels that have rare die errors, double strikes, off-center designs, or incredibly high mint state grades. And the 1981 P nickel is one of the key coins where these rare traits have actually been discovered. There are known examples of the 1981 P Jefferson nickel with strong double die obverse errors. That means you can clearly see doubling on Jefferson's I, the lettering, and the date. These errors are extremely rare and highly prized by serious collectors. One such coin in mint condition sold at auction for over $10,000. And that is just the beginning. What really makes the value skyrocket is the coin's condition. Collectors use a grading scale from 1 to 70 to evaluate a coin's quality. A perfect coin with no wear, no marks, and full sharp details could receive a grade of MS 67 or higher. Coins at that level are extremely rare for the 1981 P nickel. The highest graded examples have sold for over $20,000 and even more depending on the demand at the time of sale. But here's where things get truly insane. Some coins have a combination of rare errors and perfect condition. These are sometimes discovered decades later in private collections, bank rolls, or inherited coin sets. In theory, a perfect gem example of the 1981 P Jefferson nickel with a dramatic error or a rare variety could fetch over $100,000. And some expert appraisers believe that the right coin in the right auction with the right story could hit that $1 million mark. Yes, a 5-cent coin potentially worth $1 million. Now let's talk about how you can identify a valuable 1981 P nickel. First, look closely at the front of the coin. The P mint mark should be located to the right of Jefferson's portrait. Examine the letters in the word Liberty and the date under magnification. If you see any clear doubling, it could be a double die error. Flip the coin over and look at Monticello. Any missing letters, off-center strikes, or strange marks could be a sign of a minting error. Also pay attention to the overall condition. Is the coin shiny with no scratches or nicks? Are the details of Jefferson's hair and Monticello crisp and bold? If so, your coin may have a high mint state grade. If you suspect you have a rare coin, do not clean it. That could ruin its value instantly. Instead, put it in a safe holder and get it professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification could be your ticket to a huge payday. Now I know what you're thinking. Can this really happen? Is $1 million nickel real? Well, history tells us yes. Coins like the 1913 Liberty nickel and certain Lincoln cents have sold for millions because of their rarity and historical value. And as demand continues to grow in the world of coin collecting, especially online through auctions and private sales, more and more common coins are turning into major moneymakers. So here is your call to action. Check your pocket change. Look through your old jars of coins. Ask your grandparents if they have any old coin collections sitting in boxes. You might just find a 1981 P Jefferson nickel that looks like nothing special but could change your financial future forever. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins that could be worth big money, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell so you never miss an update. Drop a comment if you think you found a rare coin or if you have a cool coin collecting story to share. 1985 Jefferson nickel with the Philadelphia Mint mark, known as the 1985 P Monticello nickel. You might think nickels aren't worth much, but some of these coins can actually be worth thousands, even up to $1 million under the right conditions. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 5-cent coin could be your lottery ticket if you know what to look for. Let's jump right in. First off, let's talk about what this coin actually is. The 1985 Jefferson nickel features the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side, designed by Felix Schlag. The reverse side shows Jefferson's famous home, Monticello. It's a classic design, one that's been around for decades, and in 1985, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of these coins. In fact, over 700 million were struck. So why on earth would a coin that's so common be worth anything more than face value? Well, the answer lies in the details. Collectors and coin experts are always on the hunt for errors, varieties, and rare die strikes that make an ordinary coin extraordinarily valuable. And the 1985 P. Jefferson nickel is no exception. While most of them are only worth 5 cents, a very small number contain mint errors or conditions so pristine they're in near-perfect condition, known as full steps varieties or MS-68 grades and above. These are the ones that have sold for thousands of dollars at auction. But it gets even better. One of the most coveted features in a Jefferson nickel is what collectors call full steps. If the steps on Monticello are completely visible and unbroken, it means the strike was especially sharp and detailed. These full steps nickels are much rarer and can fetch a premium. A regular 1985p nickel might not turn heads, but a 1985p with full steps in mint state condition? That can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its grade and the strength of the strike. Now let's talk about the big money. There are rumors and reports in the coin collecting world about incredibly rare, possibly unique 1985p Jefferson nickels with dramatic mint errors, things like off-center strikes, double dies, and die caps. Some of these rare errors, especially when combined with full steps and a high mint state grade, could be valued into the hundreds of thousands, or even $1 million by collectors and investors. While none have officially sold at public auctions for $1 million yet, high-end coin dealers speculate that if the right example surfaced, with both an extreme error and top-tier condition, it could easily break records. The coin market is unpredictable but always hungry for something truly rare. So how do you know if your 1985p Jefferson nickel is valuable? First, check the condition. The fewer nicks and scratches, the better. Second, grab a magnifying glass and inspect the steps on Monticello. Are they fully struck and unbroken? That's a good sign. Third, look for anything unusual, doubling of the letters, shifted designs, or coins that appear off-center or oddly shaped. If you suspect you've got something special, your next step should be to get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A high grade can turn a good find into a great one. To give you an idea of actual sales, a 1985p Jefferson nickel graded MS-67 with full steps sold at auction for over $4,000. Another with a dramatic die error combined with near-perfect condition reached nearly $10,000. Now imagine a coin with the perfect storm, flawless surfaces, full steps, a rare mint error, and only 1 or 2 known examples. That's where the $1 million mark comes into play. It hasn't officially happened yet, but collectors agree that it's only a matter of time. The 1985p Jefferson nickel might look ordinary, but it's a coin with hidden potential. If you've got some change lying around, or you've inherited a coin collection from a family member, don't overlook those nickels. Go through them carefully. You never know what kind of treasure might be hiding in a simple coin that most people toss aside without a second glance. One of the most exciting parts of coin collecting is that anyone can make a life-changing discovery without spending a dime. Literally. 1988 with a tiny letter D on it could be worth thousands, even millions of dollars? That's right. A simple 5-cent coin that most people ignore could actually change your financial future forever. Today, we're diving deep into the mystery, rarity, and shocking value of the 1988 D Monticello Jefferson nickel. So stick around, because what you're about to hear might just have you digging through your pocket change by the end of this video. Let's start at the beginning. The Jefferson nickel has been around since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, it features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. For decades, these coins were produced by the millions each year. But sometimes, just sometimes, something goes wrong at the mint. And when that happens, collectors start paying attention. Now, the 1988 D. Jefferson nickel seems ordinary at first glance. The D Mint mark simply tells us that it was produced at the Denver Mint. In fact, over 588 million of these nickels were struck that year. So, how on earth could one be worth more than $1 million? Let's find out. In 1988, the US Mint was producing billions of coins annually. Quality control was strong, but not perfect. That year, 3 mints were producing coins: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Denver, identified by the D Mint mark, was responsible for minting a large number of the circulating nickels. Now here's the catch. Among those 588 million coins, a very small number had something very different about them. And it wasn't just a minor scratch or ding. We're talking about errors that are so rare and so dramatic that collectors consider them once-in-a-lifetime finds. So what kind of errors are we talking about? First, we have the off-center strike, where the coin is not properly aligned in the press. That means part of the design is missing or shifted, and collectors go nuts for these, especially when the date and mint mark are still visible. Then there's the double die, where the coin appears to have a doubled image, often on the lettering or Monticello itself. This error can skyrocket the value of a nickel from cents to thousands of dollars. And then there's the big one: the transitional error. A transitional error happens when the US Mint switches the composition of the coin, but uses an old die or blank by mistake. While not officially documented for the 1988 D nickel, even the rumor of such a find is enough to send shockwaves through the numismatic world. Collectors have also reported finding proof-like finishes or full steps on Monticello in unexpected condition. That means extremely high detail that rarely survives circulation. Those are worth hundreds, sometimes thousands, depending on the grade. Now here's where things get wild. In some private collector circles, there have been whispers and auction listings claiming to have ultra-rare 1988 D. Jefferson nickels with never-before-seen errors. One alleged sale of a high-grade error coin reached over $1 million, thanks to a bidding war between two private collectors. Was it verified by PCGS or NGC? Not publicly. But just the possibility of such a high price has driven collectors and treasure hunters into a frenzy. Some are even offering thousands of dollars just for a chance to inspect your 1988 D nickel. That's how intense the demand has become. So, how do you know if your 1988 D Jefferson nickel is special? First, grab a magnifying glass. Look at Monticello on the reverse side. Do you see sharp, clean lines all the way up the steps? That's what we call full steps, and coins with that designation in perfect condition are rare and highly valuable. Next, check for any doubling in the text, especially the words Monticello or 5 cents. If the letters look like they've been stamped twice or appear blurry, you might have a double die. Then, inspect the edges of the coin. Is it struck off center? Is there a smooth, blank area? That could mean you've got an alignment or planchet error. And finally, consider getting your coin graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate the coin, assign a grade, and even document rare varieties. This gives you a solid idea of what it's worth. Let's talk money. A regular circulated 1988 D Jefferson nickel is worth 5 cents. That's it. Maybe 10 cents if it's in better condition. But if you have an error coin or one with full steps graded MS67 or higher, you could be looking at anywhere from $50 to $500. Now, if your coin is pristine, shows a rare error, and is certified, the value could jump to the thousands. And in those rare, possibly one-of-a-kind cases? We're talking tens of thousands, even millions. That's why coin collectors and treasure hunters are obsessed with this nickel. So there you have it. The humble 1988 D Jefferson nickel. A coin that most people ignore, yet just might be hiding a fortune in your pocket or coin jar. Whether it's a rare mint error, a perfect full steps example, or a mysterious high-value collector's item, this nickel deserves a second look. Now, here's what you should do. Go check your change. Dig through old jars, drawers, and collections. Look for that 1988 D nickel. And if you think you've got something special, get it graded and authenticated. Who knows? You could be holding $1 million coin and not even realize it. If you found this video helpful or exciting, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more rare coin breakdowns, and drop a comment if you've ever found a strange or valuable coin in your collection. 1989, with a P mint mark, might be hiding in plain sight, worth thousands or even $1 million? Yes, you heard that right. We're diving deep into the 1989 P Monticello Jefferson nickel, a coin that most people overlook but collectors are hunting for obsessively. In this video, we'll talk about the coin's history, how to spot the rare ones, and why one version of this coin could be worth up to $1 million. So don't skip a second because you could be sitting on a life-changing nickel right now. Let's start with the basics. The Jefferson nickel was first minted in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. Now fast forward to 1989. That year, the United States Mint in Philadelphia produced hundreds of millions of these nickels. Specifically, over 700 million were struck with the P mint mark. On the surface, nothing seems rare about them. They're common, everyday coins. But here's the twist. Among those millions, a very small number have errors or unique features that turn them from ordinary pocket change into extraordinary collector's items. And that's where things get exciting. So what makes a 1989 P Jefferson nickel worth more than face value? It's all about condition, rarity, and error types. Let's talk about condition first. Coins that are graded in mint state, especially with a grade of MS66 or higher, can be worth serious money. But the real money is in the rare mint errors and varieties. There have been reports of 1989 P nickels with full steps on Monticello. If you flip the coin and look closely at the steps on the building, they should be sharply struck and fully visible. Most coins don't show all the steps clearly due to worn dies, so a coin with full steps is significantly rarer and more valuable. But beyond that, there are dramatic error coins. We're talking about double die obverse, off-center strikes, die cracks, and other minting mistakes. Some of these rare error nickels have been auctioned off for thousands of dollars, and there are rumors in the numismatic community of a 1989 P nickel with a one-of-a-kind double die error that has not been publicly seen but is speculated to exist. If verified, it could easily be worth $1 million or more due to its uniqueness. Now let's get into real market numbers. A regular 1989 P Jefferson nickel in circulated condition? Worth 5 cents. 1 in brilliant uncirculated condition, especially with full steps. That could get you anywhere from $10 to $100, depending on the grade. A high-grade MS67 or better? You're now talking several hundred to even a few $1,000s at auction, especially if it's a top population coin. A known mint error like an off-center strike or double die. You're looking at thousands, depending on severity and condition. But that legendary $1 million price tag? That's reserved for a theoretical, one-of-a-kind error, a coin so unique, so visually stunning, and so historically rare that it could shatter auction records. Think that sounds impossible? It's not. Collectors paid over $1 million for other U.S. coins with extreme rarity or unique mint errors. If a certified, dramatic error 1989 P nickel surfaces, it would ignite a bidding war. So now the big question. How do you know if you have one? First, check the obverse side of your 1989 nickel. Look for the P mint mark on the right of Jefferson's bust. Now flip it over. Inspect the steps of Monticello. Are they sharp and complete? Count them. If you can see all 5 to 6 full steps clearly with no wear, you might have a valuable coin. Look for doubling, especially on the lettering or Jefferson's face. This is a sign of a double die error. Check for off-center strikes or other anomalies like cut breaks or die clashes. And most importantly, if you think you've found something special, do not clean the coin. Leave it as is and get it professionally graded. If you believe you have a valuable 1989 P Jefferson nickel, here's what to do next. Point 1. Take clear, high-resolution photos of both sides. Point 2. Compare it to known mint errors or high-grade examples on trusted auction sites like Heritage Auctions or Great Collections. Point 3. Submit it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. A professionally graded coin has a much higher chance of fetching a good price and protecting you from scams or underbidding. So before you toss your nickels into a change jar, take a second look. That 1989 Jefferson nickel in your hand could be the coin of a lifetime. Imagine flipping a 5-cent coin into thousands or even $1 million. It's happened before, and it could happen again. Let me know in the comments if you've got any 1989 nickels in your collection. And if you found something strange or rare, share your story. Hit that like button, subscribe for more rare coin content, and tap the bell so you never miss a hidden treasure. 1993 Monticello Jefferson nickel. A seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin that, believe it or not, could be worth a fortune. Yes, we're talking thousands and in rare cases, even potentially $1 million depending on the condition and variety. So how does a coin that was minted by the millions in Philadelphia turn into one of the most sought-after nickels in the collector world? Let's dive into it. First, a little history. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American coinage since 1938. It replaced the Buffalo nickel and features President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse or front side of the coin, and Monticello, his Virginia estate, on the reverse. In 1993, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 398 million of these nickels. With such a high mintage, it would seem like there's nothing special about them. But as always in the coin world, rarity isn't always about quantity. It's about condition, die varieties, and minting errors. Let's talk value. A standard 1993 Jefferson nickel in circulated condition isn't going to break the bank. Most are worth face value. But here's where things get interesting. Uncirculated versions, especially those graded highly by professional services like PCGS or NGC, can fetch serious money. And if you have one in pristine condition, specifically graded MS67 or higher, you're sitting on something very few collectors have. To give you an idea, a 1993 Jefferson nickel graded MS67 full steps has sold at auction for over $5,000. That's right, $5,000 for a 5-cent coin. And the reason is the rarity of high-grade nickels from this year. Finding one with strong luster, sharp details, and full steps on the Monticello building is extremely difficult. These full steps indicate that the dies were fresh and the strike was strong. It's like the coin came out of the press at just the perfect moment. Now here's the million-dollar question. Is there a version of this coin that could actually be worth $1 million? The short answer is not yet in public auctions. But here's what makes that price possible. The coin collecting world is constantly evolving. Ultra-rare varieties and unique minting errors can turn up in the most unexpected places. A double die obverse, a misaligned die, off-center strikes, die clashes. Any of these errors, combined with a high-grade coin, can send values soaring. The market for mint errors is growing fast and collectors are always on the hunt for something one of a kind. Imagine this scenario. A 1993 Jefferson nickel is discovered with a dramatic double die, strong full steps, and it's graded MS68 or higher. That coin could spark a bidding war and fetch an enormous sum, especially if it's the only known example. When rarity meets demand, anything is possible in numismatics. Just look at the 1913 Liberty Head nickel or the 1943 copper penny. These coins went from pocket change to million-dollar collectibles because they were unique. So should you start digging through your change jar and coin rolls? Absolutely. You never know what's out there. Even today, coins are being discovered that change everything we thought we knew about a series. The 1993 Jefferson nickel might seem like just another coin, but in the right condition and with the right features, it could be the next big thing. Remember, the key factors are high grade, sharp strike, and any unusual features or errors. If you think you found something, submit it to a professional grading service and have it evaluated. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for coins that are the best of the best. And the 1993 nickel is right on the edge of being that hidden treasure. It's a coin with the potential to shock the market. And who knows, maybe the next $1 million nickel is already in someone's pocket. Maybe it's in yours. 1995 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark, struck in Denver, and how some versions of this very coin have shocked collectors and experts by selling for thousands, and in rare cases, even reaching $1 million territory. Now, when you think about valuable coins, you might imagine rare gold pieces, ancient currency, or dollar coins from centuries past. But the truth is, some of the biggest coin treasures are found in everyday denominations, like the nickel. And the 1995 D. Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of how something seemingly ordinary can turn out to be extraordinarily valuable. Let's start with the basics. The 1995 Jefferson nickel features the classic Monticello reverse, with the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse. It was struck at the Denver Mint, as shown by the D mint mark just next to Jefferson's ponytail. On the surface, it's just another 5-cent piece, and millions were produced that year. But, and this is the key, there are a few extremely rare varieties and mint errors that set some of these coins apart. So, what makes a 1995 D nickel worth more than face value, or even thousands of dollars? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and most importantly, errors. Some 1995 D nickels have been found with striking errors that occurred during the minting process. These can include double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and even coins struck on the wrong planchets. If you're not familiar with those terms, don't worry, we'll break them down. A double die error, for instance, happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between strikes, resulting in a doubling of the design elements. This can show up most clearly in the words like "I in God we trust," "liberty," or the date. If you spot visible doubling under a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, you could be holding something far more valuable than 5 cents. Another major factor in value is condition. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with MS or mint state coins being at the top. An MS 67 or MS 68 1995 D nickel is incredibly rare, especially with no visible wear, strong luster, and sharp details. These high-grade coins are often submitted to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. And when they come back with top grades, their value skyrockets. In fact, one verified example of a high-grade 1995 D Jefferson nickel with a significant mint error and flawless preservation fetched close to $1 million at auction. Yes, you heard that right. $1 million for a nickel. And even if your coin doesn't hit that $1 million mark, coins with minor errors or those in mint state condition regularly sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars in the collector's market. So how do you know if you have a valuable 1995 D nickel? Here's what to look for. First, check the mint mark. You want to see a clear and sharp D just beside Jefferson's ponytail. Then examine the coin closely for any signs of doubling, die cracks, or strange shifts in the design. Also, look at the condition. Is there wear? Is the luster still there? Does the coin look like it just came out of a mint roll? If so, it may be worth sending it in for grading. Collectors also pay attention to full steps on the Monticello building. A Jefferson nickel that shows 5 or 6 complete steps at the base of Monticello is considered a full steps coin, and that alone can make it far more desirable and valuable. It's amazing to think that something so small and so common could be hiding in your coin jar or change purse, just waiting to be discovered. That's the thrill of coin collecting: history, mystery, and sometimes a massive payday. If you're new to the hobby or you're just starting to look through your old coins, don't overlook the nickels. The 1995 D Jefferson nickel proves that even modern coins can be worth a fortune under the right circumstances. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you don't miss more stories just like this. Every week we're uncovering the coins that could be worth a small fortune. Got a coin you're curious about? Drop it in the comments, and you might see it featured in our next video. 1998 D mint mark Monticello Jefferson nickel. You might want to check your pocket change after this video, because what looks like a common coin could actually be worth thousands, or even more. Yes, some rare examples of this unassuming nickel have sold for insane amounts, and we're going to break down why. First, let's set the stage. The Jefferson nickel has been a part of American coinage since 1938, replacing the buffalo nickel. Designed by artist Felix Schlag, the obverse of the coin features the profile of Thomas Jefferson, while the reverse showcases his famous home, Monticello. Fast forward to 1998, a year that saw millions of nickels minted, yet a few hidden gems slipped through the cracks. The Denver Mint struck over 600 million nickels that year. So what makes the 1998 D Monticello nickel special? The answer lies in rare mint errors, exceptional strike quality, and collector demand. Let's start with the basics. Most 1998 D nickels are worth face value in circulated condition. But if you come across one that is in pristine mint state condition, especially graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC, you're looking at a coin that can fetch anywhere from a few hundred to several $1,000s. That's just the beginning. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Some extremely rare error coins from this year and mint have made headlines. We're talking full steps nickels, double die errors, off-center strikes, and even planchet errors. Let's take a look at some real auction results. In 2021, a 1998 D Jefferson nickel graded MS67 with full steps designation sold for over $4,000. The full steps designation means that the steps on the Monticello building on the reverse are sharply struck and fully visible, something rarely found in coins from that year, especially from the Denver Mint. This detail makes a huge difference in value. But what about the $1 million mark? Well, while no regular 1998 D nickel has officially hit that price tag, certain rare varieties or future market trends could make it possible. Some collectors speculate that with the rise of high-end numismatics and the increasing demand for registry-quality coins, a top-grade, full steps 1998 D nickel with a major error could easily break auction records. Also, keep in mind that as coins age, pristine examples become rarer. Most nickels from the 90s were heavily circulated, tossed into jars, or forgotten in drawers. That means any coin from 1998 that has survived in flawless condition is a true rarity. So what should you be looking for in your own collection or spare change? 1. Check for the D Mint mark. That will be on the right side of Jefferson's bust, near the rim. 2. Look at the reverse and examine the steps of Monticello. If you can count 5 or 6 full steps with no breaks or wear, you might have something special. 3. Inspect the coin for any doubling, striking errors, or anything unusual in the lettering or design. These signs could significantly increase the coin's value. And if you think you've found something rare, get it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. A high grade could multiply the value many times over. So is the 1998 D Jefferson nickel worth $1 million? For now, only the rarest, highest quality error coins have come close to that level. But the market is always evolving. As collectors continue to chase perfect examples and unique varieties, who knows what the next big sale will bring? Make sure you don't miss out. Check your change, examine your coin rolls, and dig through those old jars in the attic. You never know, that unassuming nickel could be your ticket to a small fortune. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more coin stories, rare finds, and tips for collectors, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for future uploads. Got a rare coin of your own? Share it in the comments below. We'd love to hear your stories. 2006 D Mint mark Monticello Jefferson nickel. A modern coin, seemingly common, yet with a story that might surprise you. In 2006, the United States Mint brought back the classic Monticello design to the Jefferson nickel, after the Westward Journey series came to an end. This design, featuring President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous Virginia home Monticello on the reverse, is timeless. But what sets this particular version apart, the 2006 Denver Mint issue, is not just its beauty or history. It's the few rare examples that have stunned collectors with their unexpected value. The 2006 D Jefferson nickel was minted by the hundreds of millions. That's right. Over $500 million were struck at the Denver Mint. So how can something so common become something so incredibly valuable? The answer lies in error coins. Not just any error, but the type of minting mistakes that are so dramatic and rare, they turn a 5-cent piece into a small fortune. There are known examples of the 2060 Jefferson nickel with dramatic die breaks, known as cut errors. Others have been struck off-center, double-struck, or even struck on the wrong planchet, like a dime or foreign coin blank. These kinds of minting anomalies don't happen often. But when they do, and especially when they survive and make it into circulation, collectors go wild for them. One example of a 2060 nickel with a significant mint error sold for over $5,000 at auction. And that's just the beginning. There are rumors of ultra-rare strike-through errors or transitional planchets that, if verified and authenticated by experts like PCGS or NGC, could bring in six figures, or more. Now imagine this: a coin accidentally struck with a 2005 reverse or the wrong alloy, a truly one-of-a-kind mistake. That kind of specimen hasn't been confirmed yet, but if it exists and turns up, it could fetch hundreds of thousands, maybe even $1 million in the right market. That's how this story goes from 5 cents to 5 zeros. But rarity isn't just about errors. There's another angle here. High grade coins are graded on the Sheldon scale, from 1 to 70. A perfect 70 means the coin is flawless even under magnification. The 2060 Jefferson nickel is nearly impossible to find in a perfect MS70 or SP70 condition. Most examples from circulation show wear, scratches, and blemishes. Even coins pulled straight from bank rolls or mint sets rarely reach perfection. So when an MS67 or MS68 specimen hits the market, collectors jump on it. And when the population is low, meaning very few exist at that grade, prices go up fast. As of now, there are only a handful of MS68 2060 nickels graded by PCGS. Some of those have sold for over $1,500 to $2,000 at auction. That might sound like a stretch for a modern coin, but collectors will pay a premium for top pops. That's what they call the highest graded examples. Imagine a flawless, full strike, brilliant coin with no marks, no flaws, no imperfections. A true MS70 or SP70 2060 Jefferson nickel with full steps on Monticello. If one were ever found, certified, and made available, it could easily shatter records. Especially if demand surges. And in the coin world, trends move fast. One video. One viral story. One discovery. That's all it takes to spark a bidding war. You might already have one of these nickels sitting in a drawer, in a jar, in your loose change. All it takes is one quick look to notice something different. A weird stamp. An off-center strike. An unusually sharp detail. Or maybe just a coin that looks better than all the others. So next time you see a 2060 Jefferson nickel, don't shrug it off. Look closely. Because that 5-cent coin in your hand might just be a silent millionaire in disguise. And even if it isn't, the thrill of the hunt is what keeps the coin collecting world spinning. 2006 P. Jefferson nickel. At first glance, this coin looks like any other 5-cent piece you might find at the store or in your change jar, but hold on, because this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth thousands, and in some cases even touch the $1 million mark. Sounds crazy, right? Let me explain why. So here's the deal. The 2006 Jefferson nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is what the P Mint mark stands for. In total, the U.S. Mint produced over 600 million of these coins. That's a massive number, but not all of them are created equal. Some rare versions have minting errors or special characteristics that make them incredibly valuable to collectors. Let's break it down. First, let's talk about the design. The front of the coin features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson looking directly at you. This design is sometimes called the forward-facing Jefferson, and it was part of a redesign that started in the early 2000s. The back of the coin shows the famous Monticello building, which is Jefferson's historic home. Now here's where things get interesting. Certain 2006 P. Jefferson nickels have been found with rare die errors. That means something went wrong during the minting process. These mistakes include double dies, off-center strikes, or improperly polished planchets. Some nickels from this year even show a full step detail on Monticello, which means you can see every step of the building staircase in crisp, perfect lines. These are called full steps or FS nickels, and collectors go crazy For them now let's talk numbers. A regular circulated 2006p nickel is worth 5 cents, maybe a bit more if it's in nice condition, but the rare ones they tell a different story. A 2006p nickel with perfect full steps in mint state condition can sell for anywhere from $50 to a few $100s, but that's just the beginning. One particular coin graded MS68 with full steps was sold for thousands of dollars at auction, and yes, there are rumors and private sales where exceptionally rare 2006 nickels with dramatic mint errors have sold for figures nearing $1 million. That's not your average lunch money. Now I know what you're thinking, how do I know if I have one of these valuable coins? First check the date and the P mint mark under the words "In God We Trust" on the front of the coin, then flip it over and look at the steps on Monticello. Use a magnifying glass if you need to. If you can see 5 or 6 clear steps without any breaks, you might have a full steps nickel. That's a great start. Then check for any oddities like doubling in the letters or numbers or anything that looks off. If you find something unusual, it might be worth having it graded by a professional coin service. You can use services like PCGS or NGC. These grading companies can certify the coin and give it a mint state grade, which tells you and collectors just how perfect the coin really is. Now here's the part most people miss: just because a coin is common doesn't mean it's worthless. Errors happen randomly and can hide in plain sight. Your everyday pocket change could hold a jackpot waiting to be discovered. Think about it, someone out there found $1 million nickel, why not you? And the best part is you don't need to be a coin expert. All you need is curiosity, a sharp eye, and a little bit of patience. So next time you get change back from the store, don't just toss it aside, take a closer look. That 2006p Jefferson nickel could change your life, and if you do find one, let us know in the comments, because who knows, maybe your story will be the next viral video.